Hello students, welcome to MGC Learning. Today we are going to learn about public finance in India, that is chapter number 8, and this is part 4 video. In part 1, part 2 and part 3 videos we have already seen about public expenditure, that are revenue expenditure, capital expenditure, developmental expenditure and non-developmental expenditure. Then also we have seen about public revenue, that is government's revenue, the government's income sources, that is tax and non-tax sources. We have already seen direct tax sources, that is proportionate, progressive and regressive taxes, and non-tax tax sources, that is fees, then prices of public goods and services, special assessment and so on. In this video, we will understand about the indirect tax now, which is commonly known as goods and service tax, that is GST. Let us understand what is goods and service tax. The goods and service tax, or is known as GST, came into effect in India on July 1st, 2017. GST is different from an excise or sales tax imposed as a single stage levy on the manufacture or sale of a product. Now, this tax is comprehensive in nature, or you can call it as a multi stage or destination based tax, because it is not applied on the manufacturer but it is applied on the consumer who is consuming the product. It is comprehensive tax base with nationwide coverage of goods and service. Earlier there were different types of tax implied as per the different states, which is now made as common for all the states. So this is a nationwide coverage of goods and services. So whatever goods and services are produced, now there is a common formula to calculate a GST. GST would replace the following taxes levied and collected by the center and states, such as central excise duty, service tax, additional duties of customs, etc. Earlier there were different types of taxes which would apply, like central excise duty, then service tax, then additional duties of customs, then state value added tax, entry tax, entertainment tax, etc. So now all these taxes are gone, and instead of that now only one common GST is applied, and there are different slots or percentage of GST as per the requirement of goods and services, or as per the nature of goods and services. So there are different slots or slabs of collection of tax, that is 0%, 5%, 12%, 18% and 28%. So as per the nature of commodity, if it is necessity then there is no tax applied, and so on, like whatever what is the use of that particular goods and service, and accordingly taxes are implied. So now there is common tax in all over India, that is known as goods and service tax. There are different types of GSTs, that is central goods and service tax, that this tax levied on interstate supplies of both goods and services by the central government, which will be governed by the CGST Act. CGST says Central Goods and Service Tax. So this tax is levied on interstate supply. Interstate means from two states, between two states, and this will be applied to the state where goods and services are consumed and not where the commodity is produced. So please do understand this difference. GST is applied to the state where the commodity is being consumed and not where the commodity is produced. So for example, if we talk about sugar production, let's say if sugar production is done in Delhi and the product is sold to the in Maharashtra, then the CGST would be applied on in Maharashtra and not in Delhi, because it will be applied where it is going to be consumed and not where it is going to be produced. CGST is given by central government. Then comes state goods and service tax. It's in short form it is written as SGST. and this tax is received by the state in which the goods or services are consumed and not by the state in which these goods are manufactured. This is in the state area. This is particularly between in the state. So again, in state, which city it is being consumed, there this SGST would be applied. Then comes integrated goods and service tax. Integrated goods and service tax is levied on all interstate supplies of goods and services which will be governed by the IGST Act. So interstate supplies of goods and services between the states whatever goods and services are supplied, and that will be governed by IGST Act. And then comes compensation part, that is it is the part for the loss of expected income on the part of the state government. So state government, whatever income is expecting, whatever loss it has suffered, so that comes under the compensation part. So compensation means like whatever expected income government has not received, to compensate that thing, compensation part is given by the state government. Now let us see further expected benefits of GST. What are the benefits of GST? That is goods and service tax. Creation of unified common national market for India. So it has created a common national market. Earlier where we were having different types of taxes, now it has common market. So wherever you are, in whichever state you are of India, there will be a common tax. Depend upon the nature of the tax, there will GST would be applied. Boost to foreign investment and Make in India campaign. So foreign investors are now more interested in investing in India, and so does it makes Make in India. Make in India means whatever more and more, it encourages more and more production which should take place in India rather than we get it import from the other countries. So Make in India means more and more we make products in our country itself rather than buying it from other countries. Then comes harmonization of laws, procedures and rates of tax. Harmonization means it's common, it's simplified, where every state would understand the importance and it will be applied to the other state or the same state. Then it comes boost export and manufacturing activity. It boost means increases. It increases export and manufacturing activity. So now when it comes to Make in India, means more products are manufactured in India, so it increases manufacturing activity, and when manufacturing activity is increased, that means more production takes place in India, and so does it gives encouragement to export also. Improvement in the overall investment climate in the country. So in the country more and more people are interested to invest for the betterment, which is finally is betterment for the economy. Then comes simplifying the tax system in the country. It makes rather than having different tax systems, now there is common tax system, so it is easy for the government also to find out the how economy is growing. Then reducing final prices of goods. Earlier there were 3-4 types of tax which would apply on the goods, so that would increase goods cost, final cost, but now there is only one tax, so it reduces final price of the goods. Then comes boost to the industrial sector. So more and more industries are set up, so it gives increase to the industrial sector. And poverty eradication by generating more employment and more financial resources. So now when we talk about more manufacturing in the country, that means more people are employed and it reduces unemployment in the country, and so it reduces poverty from the country. So now this we have learnt about GST. Further we move to public debt. Public debt means like private individual. Now suppose we are in emergency, we borrow money from others in case of emergency if we don't have any money, so that is debt. in Hindi we can call it as कर्जा. हम लोग कभी पैसा नहीं होता है तो हम दूसरे से पैसे लेते हैं, जिसे हम कर्जे के तौर पे लेते हैं, बाद में हम उन्हें पैसे वापस करते हैं. सो दिस वे इवन गवर्नमेंट ऑल्सो नीड्स टू रेज लोन्स. कभी कभी गवर्नमेंट को भी ज़रूरत पड़ती है जब भी गवर्नमेंट के पास इतना फंडिंग नहीं होता है. सो देन what happens, because government's expenditure is generally exceeds government's revenue. Government expenditure is always more than government revenue, because the sources of income which government has, but government is spending also for the welfare of the people. There are different areas where government has to spend, so expenditure is always more than the revenue in government case. So then government also has to raise debt from the different sources. There are mainly two types of public debt, that is internal debt and external debt. Internal debt, as the name says, when government borrows from internally, that is within the country. That could be their citizens, that could be banks, central bank, financial institutions, business houses, etc. It is known as internal debt. In terms of, like, you can say about bonds. Now when government is taking borrowing, when government borrows money from the internal sources, that could be business houses or from its citizens or from banks, then it would be called as internal debt. And external, as name says, it is when government borrows from the foreign investors, foreign companies, foreign governments, IMF, that is International Monetary Fund, then World Bank, from other sources, that is not from India, not from the same country, from other countries. When government borrows money from other countries, that is known as external debt. So I hope you have understand internal debt and external debt. Internal debt is something when government borrows money from within the country, from different our same people, like our citizens, our banks, our central bank, our business houses. And when government borrows money from foreign countries, foreign government, when International Monetary Fund, World Bank, etc., then it would be called as external debt. Now let us see the difference between internal debt and external debt. Internal debt, first point, is raised within the economy. Within the economy means within the country, within country's economy. External debt is raised outside the economy. It is raised outside the economy means when government borrows money from the other countries. Then second point, internal debt is voluntary or compulsory in nature. That is something government, when government says, when government passes some laws or policy that has to be followed, that is voluntarily, compulsorily in nature, and this is involuntary in nature. External debt is also voluntary in nature. Voluntary in nature means it is by their choices, and here it would be involuntary. Internal debt is involuntary or compulsory in nature. It is not something if people would like to do it. It is something which government has passed a law, and according to that everyone has to do it if internal debt is raised. So that is compulsory in nature, whereas external debt is voluntary. That depends upon the choices. Then comes third point, that is use of domestic currency. When it is done internally, so obviously our currency is used, and when it is done outside the India, that is foreign currency is used. And then fourth point is less complex for the management. As it is done within the country, the procedure is quite less complex, that is less complicated, we can say, whereas external debt, that is little complex by the management, because there are different countries involved, then currency also is changed, then different country has different rules, they have different rules for their economy, so this process becomes little complex or complicated in nature. So there are 4 points between internal debt and external debt. And then one more point we will understand in this video, that is fiscal policy. Fiscal policy is basically a policy which talks about public expenditure, public revenue, and public debt. So it includes all these three things of the government, and to manage these three things, that is public expenditure, public revenue, and public debt, government come with the different policies, with the monetary policies, and that is called as fiscal policy. Fiscal policy is the means by which a government adjusts its spending levels and tax rates to monitor and influence a nation's economy. It deals with the public expenditure, public revenue, and public debt. In short, it is the financial policy implemented by the government. So, in fiscal policy, you have only this much, that it includes three parts, that is public expenditure, public revenue, and public debt. And government, to handle these three things, government come out with different monetary policy, and that is known as fiscal policy. To adjust this, government come with the different policy, and that is known as fiscal policy. Now in this video we have learnt about fiscal policy. We have learnt about the difference between internal and external debt. What is public debt? That is government's debt. When government borrows money from other sources, that is called as public debt. There are two types. Then we have learnt about the benefits of GST, and we have understood the different types of GST, that is CGST, Central Goods and Service Tax, State Goods and Service Tax, and Integrated Goods and Service Tax. So in next video we will understand, that is in part 5 video, we will understand about financial administration. Thank you.